Welcome to Northern Ireland, the land of a giant spirit. In this two-part programme, I'll be discovering some exciting new faces and places. On my travels, I'll be visiting the ancient city of Armagh, stately country homes and ancient castles, great lochs and majestic mountains. I'll be meeting the locals who have made a giant effort to protect the well-being and safety of all its visitors without compromising on that legendary Northern Irish charm and hospitality. Join me for some unforgettable experiences, from wide open spaces to enjoyable cities full of the buzz without the bustle. We'll see how the incredible people here have taken lots of small steps so that you can still enjoy a giant adventure. We start our journey at Cologne Distillery, nestled among the heart of the Mourns. Brendan.
Hello, Ed. How are you?
Hiya. Good to see you.
Nice to meet you.
How are you doing? I found you.
You did indeed, yeah.
Cologne.
Up amongst the mountains.
Nice to see
yeah.
you.
Oh, you're very welcome. This is Ireland's smallest distillery, but
Wow.
we give you a big welcome anyway.
And Brendan, I suppose your pub would be described as an artisan whiskey maker.
That's dead right, dead right. So we're making pot still Irish whiskey that focuses on, those old style mash bills. Back whenever Irish whiskey was the whiskey of choice throughout the whole world at the time, before the rise of Scotch, Irish whiskey was made differently than it is today, and that was because they used up to 30% oats, rye and wheat. People like to see that things are done by hand, and no other distilleries really do that. We use boat paddles.
Is this why you look so fit, is it?
I don't know about that.
You're working the paddles all the time.
I have to burn off those calories from drinking the whiskey as well. So yeah, you basically mix it and you create Ireland's biggest bowl of porridge,
So now you're going to take me through to the hard part of the experience, yeah?
Indeed, let the spirit do the talking.
Have you got your secret ingredients?
We do indeed. This is a native botanical gin, so everything we do is of the area. We're making our whiskey with our oats, so our botanicals for the gin are harvested around the mountains and grown just outside here as well. That old hip flask bottle seems to have fallen out of fashion, but they're brilliant, they're very ideal, and I know they're handy to sneak into a concert as well.
Yeah.
A lot of the flavour comes from the cask itself, but more importantly, a lot of the flavour comes from the distillate, and that's something that Irish whiskey has been turning its back on for a long time. Distillate-led spirits is where the future of Irish whiskey is, and I think Cologne are at the forefront of that, and we're very demanding in that.
Well, now Brendan, the last time I had poignant, right, I can't remember anything, right? That was a long time ago, right? And I don't think it was legal like yours is here. But I'd love to try a little gin. That'd be lovely, yeah.
Right.
And then I'll definitely try one of your whiskies.
Lovely stuff.
Oh, yum, yeah. Mother's
Delicious.
milk, as they say.
It is indeed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
We're very happy with it. We really are.
Wow.
You couldn't
Okay,
choose.
I'm just gonna slip this into it.
And Irish whiskey, as we say, we look back at the traditions, and whenever Irish whiskey was at its peak in the 1800s, bourbon didn't really exist, so it was a lot of European oak and different wood, and it's those sherries and wines and stuff like that. So certainly there's a bit of a renaissance in that type of wood as well. It's not just all bourbon barrels anymore. There's a wide spectrum.
Well, I can't leave without trying the whiskey and maybe
Definitely.
a tiny drop of poignant, right? So will you pour me a small glass?
I will do indeed.
We're going to do one better for you. We'll give you something from the cask.
Have I got you over a barrel now, Brendan, here? Literally, you're over a barrel. This is a first for me now.
Yeah, so you're tasting straight from the cask here. So this is probably about 62%. So it'll blow the socks off you, but if anybody was to take a drink of it.
Wow. That's going to get rid of anything. That's going to kill any bad stuff, isn't it?
It will indeed.
Wow.
Normally
That's a giant spirit.
It is indeed.
Wow, it's beautiful. I mean, it's like liquid gold, that.
And this is what Irish whiskey was for far longer than we can imagine. This is what was the whiskey of choice throughout the world. What you're doing right now is tasting the future.
Of course, from the cask, yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
This is the future of Irish whiskey, and also it's the past of Irish whiskey.
Leaving the lovely Cologne Distillery, I continued my journey on to discover the most dramatic walk in Europe.
Alana, it's absolutely fantastic to meet you. I've always had the Gobbins on my bucket list for Northern Ireland, and I must say, it's just breathtaking.
There'd be nothing like this on your way up the coast, so you've at least got a good day for it today as well. Your regular tour would take about 2.5 hours, so that would include your bus here, the journey down the access path, and then to the end of the path and back again.
I mean, I suppose in terms of fitness, I mean, anybody can really do it, but you'd want to be sort of moderately fit, I guess.
A moderate level of fitness would be required. The main reason is just for the access down there. You know, obviously we're not going to get emergency vehicles down, but I would say most people, if you're relatively fit, you'll have no problems at all, and your guide's always there as well.
When people come here, it's groups of 10 people, which is nice, so you've got, it's not too crowded at all, there's no bustle or anything, it's all done very well. And you were saying to me about 17 tours a day?
Yes, about 17 in the summer, and we drop down in the winter just because of daylight.
I have my helmet, I have my water, I have my factor 50, so we're going to head now down along here to the lower paths.
Yep, just down this way and go back around that cliff.
Wonderful, I can't wait.
Okay.
Off we go. A little secret hideaway for hobbits or something. The hobbits in the Gobbins.
I'm not sure if they were maybe a bit smaller back in 1901, but some of our taller visitors do have an issue with it. But this is the original entranceway. It's called Wise's Eye. So this is the exact same place. There would have been a man standing here taking your toll to go onto the path.
Wow. And that was back in the 1900s.
Yep, from 1902 he would have been here.
Amazing.
So,
the ladies would have had the full dressed kind of costume, the Victorians, wouldn't they?
Big
Head
skirts.
to toe.
Skirts big enough that they could have hid a couple of children underneath, so that they only had to pay one admission price. And if you've got any particular interests, your guide will try to work those into the tour more. So if you like geology, they'll talk about geology. If you like the birds, they'll bring that up. If you've got younger children, they'll tell you more folklore. So it's a nice way to manage it. And with the smaller tours as well, if that's what you're interested in, the guide can give you a bit more time to get some really good pictures down here.
Now, we're going to go through the tunnel, right? The tunnel of darkness. And this takes about, how long?
It's about 20 metres long.
Okay, great. So it won't be too long.
No. And we've got lights inside in case you're scared of the dark.
Brilliant. And then little emergency phones, I'm sure. Okay, off we go. I have to say, that was absolutely fabulous. It's really something special here. And I can't believe when you said to me 65 million years old.
Yep, 65 million years for the cliffs, 100 just above for the pathway. And to still have people coming here every day is really special. It's nice to share with people.
I'm off to meet expert skipper Gary Mcstucker, who knows the waters of Loch Ness like the back of his hand and has many tales to tell while I take in the beautiful scenery.
Hi Gary, it's lovely to meet you. How are you today?
Not too bad, Ed. You're very welcome to our Loch Ness. And I believe it's your first time here.
Yeah, I'm ashamed actually to say it's my first time in Loch Ness. I've been coming up for years here to Northern Ireland, and it's my first time actually on Loch Ness. But I'm very excited. I don't know how I missed it. It's so big.
Well, I don't know how you missed it is beyond me, but it's definitely a big stretch of water. It's 25 mile long by 13 mile wide. So it's like a wee inland sea, basically. And there's a host of stories around it that we hope to tell. I myself am a 7th generation fisherman. So it's in my DNA. It's what I do every day. So we're looking forward a lot to tell our story and to the masses, to the people out there. So
yeah, no, terrific. And I mean, I'm really excited to hear the Loch Ness stories from an actual fisherman and from someone who knows the lake as well as yourself.
Oh well, the lake is something I know like the back of my hand, and like we'll go out there with fish finders and GPSs and stuff like that. But I have a mental map of the bottom of the loch, so I can visually see it without having to switch something on or whatever like so.
Terrific. So I'm in good hands, am I?
You're in good hands.
All right, great.
Loch Ness is undoubtedly a geographic and ecological beating pulse in the area. Loch Ness Stories is owned and managed by local couple Gary and Anne-Marie Mcstucker, who are passionate advocates for the place in which they grew up and still call home. We head out to embrace the largest lake in Ireland, but it couldn't feel more intimate as Gary tells me stories of family, history and times gone by, and of the ones that got away. Deep beneath the earth lies a hidden subterranean world filled with beauty, mystery and awe. My tour guide, Owen Shields, is going to bring me on a journey to unlock some of its secrets.
So Ed, you're very welcome to the Marble Arch Caves here in Fermanagh, and we're now actually going through along the same way that the first explorers would have come through the caves here. Now they would have had minimal light, and they would have had only some candles on the brims of their hats, so they would have been coming along the same way that we have, and that was back in 1895, and that was the first exploration of the cave. But they do reckon that the locals of the area, they were very superstitious, and they actually thought that they would have known about these cave systems for hundreds of years prior to that, but they were too afraid to ever come in and explore the caves. So as I say, in 1895 it was the first time that it was ever explored, and that was by Edward Martel, a French speleologist, and Lister Jameson, a Dublin-born naturalist. Now the formations that we have in the caves, they are hundreds of thousands of years old. Now the rock that you'll see here, this is known as Dartry limestone, and it's the rock that composes the majority of the Marble Arch Caves, and it began to form around 330 million years ago. The full walking tour is about 1.5 kilometres in length, and that lasts for just over an hour usually.
Now, Owen, the question I was always asked in school, I never got right, was which goes up and which goes down? Stalagmites and stalactites.
So the stalactites, they come down, and the stalagmites, they grow up.
Very good, yeah, fantastic.
So up here we have what's known as a flowstone, and I explained to you earlier just about the calcium carbonate comes down within the water, running through the roof of the cave, and then it will flow down along a build-up of rocks you can see here below. And it's sort of, as you can see, it's encased the rocks here in sort of a hard calcite shell. But you'll agree it looks quite soft. You know, if at a glance you might think it was soft. And because of that, it's been given the nickname the Porridge Pot. Okay. And that's after the old children's story of the porridge pot that overflowed and tipped over and covered everything within its path. And that's what the calcium carbonate is doing on the rocks here.
And do lots of people ask you, Owen, if that, would that ever fall down?
I suppose people do ask it, especially walking down underneath looking up at it. People are wondering, could it fall down? Now, it's been there for 250,000 years, so I suppose.
And of course, I can't believe I didn't come here before. This is amazing.
It's sort of a little hidden secret underground, people.
Absolutely, this magic subterranean world, it's just incredible.
Yeah, people, when they come, they're in awe, really.
Absolutely. When I come here, I feel really young as well, because everything is so old, it's great.
I'm off to have a little look into the world of Bellaghy and the traditional handcrafted production processes that have made Bellaghy product world famous since 1857. I'm arriving to give them a little helping hand.
That's great. You must love it here, do you?
Well, I like the money.
Yeah. Sure. That's good to hear.
I must
anyway.
like something.
Brilliant. Great. Thanks, Eamon.
It's normally a
Listen, you go on a tea break now, Eamon. I'll give you a shout in a few hours. So this is great. So if the old TV filming career doesn't work out, I can come up here and I can do a bit of this now. So I'm really keen to learn how to do it. So tell me, Patricia, are you a dab hand at this now?
I'm better at the painting end of it. But Ed, now we've watched Eamon showing you what needs to be done. So now what you need to do is remove the excess clay here from the top and using that piece there. Yes.
So Patricia, when people come to do this experience, how long would they spend?
You would spend
ideally
up to about 2 hours, because what we'll do first of all is take them around on the actual tour so they can get to see firsthand how everything's made, and we then take them back, sit them down with the craftsperson, and they'll sit down, do a bit like what you're doing, remove the seams. Once then you would have your handle on there, we'll get you to put your initial on the bottom. Just hold it up now.
So I think, as they say, I'm getting a handle on this now.
You're getting a handle on it. Right. That way then we can identify it as it goes through the process from glazing to firing. So
now, in a few years' time, that could be worth a fortune, right?
It could be worth,
it's very important that it's signed.
It'll be on eBay selling for a fortune.
Great, an original Ed Finn.
I tell you.
Super. Brilliant. That's great, Patricia. So where does that go off to then?
That goes off now to the kilns,
Yeah.
where it receives the first firing. It'll be fired for 24 hours at 1200 degrees centigrade. After that, it'll go to quality control, but it'll get through quality control because it's your piece.
Okay.
After that, then we'll take it off to be glazed.
Yeah. They want too much quality control on this now.
They'll be looking for you to come back.
Minimal quality control, Patricia, right? Because we do want to get it through.
We want to get it through.
Tell them to turn a blind eye. Great.
It'll make it.
Okay.
What do you think, Eamon? Looking good?
Fabulous.
So now this one's the Claddagh mug. So the Claddagh pattern is very popular. This is the
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah, the Claddagh ring.
the Claddagh ring, and it
Yeah.
has the symbol there on
The
it.
Americans love the Claddagh.
They do.
That's great. That's the mother's Christmas present sorted anyway. Patricia,
Yeah.
handmade.
She'll never believe you can put it in the microwave or the dishwasher.
I think she has used the dishwasher, I'd say, twice in about 10 years.
You'd be a good man here, Ed. You've great attention to detail there.
Come here, listen, with the prices of property down below, I think I might be up very soon. Now the handle didn't fall off yet, isn't that
Handle's
great? Handle's still on my hands-on experience. Yeah, brilliant. No wobble.
No wobble.
Fabulous. That's great.
Fantastic,
Wonderful.
yes.
That's terrific.
Eamon, you better watch yourself. Tell you.
Great.
New lad in town.
I'm meeting tour guide Donna Fox to have an interesting walk around this ancient city.
Donna, it's a great pleasure to be here in Ireland's spiritual and ecclesiastical home, Armagh. Wonderful. I've always wanted to do the walking guided tour here and to hear about the history and learn about St. Patrick, and the weather is beautiful, and of course it's also Ireland's orchard county, famous for cider and great things.
It is indeed. Armagh is a gem of the city, Ed, and there's history around every corner. And it links into pre-Christian times, of course with our link with St. Patrick, and as you said, with the orchard county. So we've got 4,000 acres of orchards, 7 to 10 miles radius around this city. We are a small city, 15,000 people, with very friendly people. I would say the friendliest people in Ireland, possibly. And so there are people around, but it's not crowded, and it really lends itself so well to a walking tour. And Armagh is established on 7 hills like Rome, so you need to be quite fit to do the walking tours here because there's quite a lot of steep gradients.
Very good. And you were saying earlier, we're also going to enjoy on the tour some gorgeous Georgian architecture.
There's beautiful Georgian architecture. There's a book published by the Ulster Architectural Society which states that some of the Georgian buildings in Armagh are the best examples of Irish Georgian architecture anywhere on the island.
And the other thing, Donna, that's really interesting about the tour that you do is the whole history here of Celtic mythology.
Yes, Armagh is steeped in myths and legends, and we take our name Armagh from the Irish Ardwacha, which means the height of Macha, because one of the Queen Machas was buried here on the hill of Armagh. A later Queen Macha established her palace out at the Navan Fort, Owen Macha, which means the twins of Macha. There's links into Cuchulainn as well, the defender of Ulster, and the royalty of Ulster lived here in Armagh, which gave it such prominence that we believe St. Patrick was drawn here as a result of that.
Fantastic, great stuff.
So-
Well, Donna, I'm dying to do this tour, so
Great.
I'm
Great to
looking
have
really
you all
forward to it.
here in Armagh.
So let's head off.
There's no better way to get away and relax than in the quiet, tranquil surrounds of Blessingbourne Estate.
I'm delighted to be here in County Tyrone, and I must say I'm looking around and I feel like I'm in Downton Abbey and I'm waiting for Lady Mary to come down the stairs. It's absolutely beautiful here.
You're very welcome. We're delighted that you could come and see us today. My husband and I have inherited the estate from my parents-in-law. The family have been here over 300 years at Blessingbourne. The house is really very special. It's arts and craft. Pepys Cockrell designed the house, and Hugh de Fellenberg Montgomery was the builder of the house.
So there's so much to do here. I mean, if you want to come and breathe in the fresh country air, get away from it all, you've got fabulous mountain bike trails. And the one thing that people love now these days, you're pet friendly as well.
Absolutely, it's dog paradise at Blessingbourne. We're very happy to welcome anything with 4 legs, anything from a hamster to a horse can come and stay at Blessingbourne. The mountain bike trails are amazing, which were designed by Phil Saxena, who was designing the Beijing Olympics and the Commonwealth Games.
It's actually a working farm as well. You have horses, it's beautiful. So there's so much for kids to enjoy when they're here.
Oh, we find people have got quite removed from farming and they love to come out, particularly from the south, from Dublin. They love the fact it's a working farm. We've a Aberdeen Angus herd on the estate, which is my husband's pride and joy. And he likes to spend more time farming than helping me sometimes. The estate's very relaxed, very chilled. I think sometimes people think they're going to arrive at these places and they'll be a lot more formal, and Blessingbourne's not like that at all. We always say the second time you come back, you've got to walk the dogs, cut the grass and move the cows.
Fantastic. Well, that's brilliant. Well, Colleen, listen, I'd love you to show me around some more of the house. That'd be great.
Absolutely, I'd love to.
Can I call for some tea, can I?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I've always wanted to do that. That's fabulous.
We decided to take the library and put memories of a Victorian childhood. So we're very lucky. We've lots of original things in the house.
And I see a rocking horse here.
Yes,
wow.
This was Uncle Peter's. This is really special.
So the house was built for the boys, is that right?
Absolutely.
Wow, amazing, still working perfectly.
Oh, it's beautiful. It is beautiful.
That's something else. Around every corner there's a story. It's brilliant.
Oh, well, I think for Nick and I, we just feel like we're playing out a chapter in the history of the house, and we're really just guardians, and we hope that we can keep it going and have lots of visitors and friends come to enjoy it for the future.
Join me next week when I'll be travelling back in time at the Ulster Folk Museum, where I have an important appointment with Doc Martin. I'll be visiting the stunning Glenarm Castle and Gardens. I'll enjoy a giant feast at Belfast St George's Market and discover some of the city's amazing street art before finally finishing up with a poignant visit to the Seamus Heaney home place in Bellaghy. And I'll be continuing to discover how the people of Northern Ireland have taken lots of small steps so that you can enjoy a giant adventure.